this is just getting wild. Wall Street's mood is shifting, and fast. A growing chorus of strategists is waving red flags, warning that the US economy may be sliding into stagflation, a tricky mix of sluggish growth and stubborn inflation. The culprit? A fresh round of sweeping trade tariffs from President Trump that just went live, potentially driving up prices and squeezing consumers right as the Federal Reserve faces pressure to cut interest rates. So far, markets haven't fully flinched. The S&P 500 is still pushing record highs, and Treasury yields, while volatile, are holding relatively steady. But under the surface, warning signs are starting to take shape. Investors have been betting big that the Fed will come to the rescue with not one, but two rate cuts this year. That confidence grew after Friday's jobs report showed hiring has slowed, but top economists from Apollo to Bank of America are pushing back hard on that optimism. Their message? Don't underestimate the inflationary punch tariffs can deliver. If companies start passing those higher costs on to consumers, it could trap the Fed in a corner, unable to ease policy without fueling more inflation. Despite mounting warnings from Wall Street about stagflation, the stock market keeps defying gravity. The S&P 500 has notched record after record, and investors, fueled by optimism over possible Fed rate cuts, are still piling into risk assets. It paints a rosy picture at first glance, but it's increasingly disconnected from what's happening on Main Street. While portfolios are swelling on paper, the average American is feeling the squeeze of rising living costs and stagnant wage growth. Groceries are still more expensive than they were a year ago, rent has barely cooled, and energy prices have ticked higher again, all while consumer debt sits at record highs. The gap between Wall Street and everyday life is growing more glaring by the month. Markets are rallying on the assumption that inflation is under control and rate cuts are coming, but for millions of people, that narrative doesn't hold up at the checkout line. Trump's new tariffs are poised to push prices even higher, especially on imported goods and manufacturing inputs, which means businesses may pass those costs on to consumers. For the Fed, that presents a dangerous dilemma. Inflation is sticky, but the economy isn't strong enough to handle more tightening. It's exactly the kind of trap stagflation represents. And while stock indices float higher on hope, everyday Americans are being quietly buried under the real-world weight of higher prices, tighter credit, and a shrinking cushion to fall back on.